Hello, this is the Aftermarket Sunday Report with Vegas and Jim, November the 25th, 2018, and I'm going to pass this right over to Vegas.
Okay, hi everyone. Hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I'm going to give you a list of things to watch for tomorrow and probably for Tuesday. So we're going to talk about BPTH, we're going to talk about NE, we're going to talk about SFET, Israeli ticker, David's T, CRMD, and an OTC special OTC called NHPI. So, first one we're going to talk about is BPTH, which is Biopath Holdings. They recently had their earnings a couple weeks ago, around the 15th, and they just talked about various things, about the phase 2 clinical trials. They talked about how they have commenced stage 2 of one of their trials in August of a drug called prexibersin. And what's interesting is that the company will be at the American Society of Hematology, which is known as the ASH Conference, and this is being held in San Diego, California. And that will be from December the 1st until the 4th. They will be presenting on the 1st, which is on Saturday of next week. Now, this particular stock, Jim will talk about the chart in a second, but a lot of people have been trading this for quite some time in anticipation of the clinical data. Similar to, like, let's say, an Ogen. When Ogen had potential news that they were going to be releasing for their presentation, we saw what happened with Ogen, and that had a nice run. So this could somehow behave in a similar way. So if you're not in the trade, you may want to take a look. You may want to have a swing position. It may actually start triggering some action tomorrow, but probably a lot more hype on it towards the end of the week. So let Jim talk about that chart and tell us what he sees on BPTH.
Well, BPTH, here's your yearly chart, and we had a yearly high of around 309, which I would probably consider right around about 293, right there off that base of that candle right there, 294, 293, with a resistance around 280, but that's long go. So we've had a pretty good little sell-off on this thing. It's bounced up from 33 cents about a month and a half ago, and just Friday we almost run right into that 50 SMA on a yearly chart. That 50 SMA was at 57, and we closed right at 54. We had a and we come close to hitting that 57 a while back, 3 days ago. So I'm bullish on this, not kinda. I'm gonna bring this down to a linear channel chart. You see it followed that linear bottom line right down there and then run up to the 50. So let's see if we can bring it up to the pivot point resistance, which is right around 68 cents. And I'll pull that up on a 20-day. And you can see that 68 right here. We had a high of 66 just about 4 days ago. So I never say rush into a stock. I say wait for the tape, wait for the volume, wait for maybe a pullback. But if you're eager, jump on in. And this is BPTH, pullback maybe right around 51 cents. Oh, I'd say maybe right around 50 if it happened. If it happened, 51. But we could go and probably break on out of this and hit that, and then we'd have to break that 56. And if we broke that 56, then we're off. BPTH, and the next one is NE, Vegas.
Okay, so any Sphere 3D, as you guys know, they got the news that they're back in compliance here, and that's actually good. I think the stock's in an upward channel, and the trading volume's been really good. So it's actually positive to see that the volume keeps on moving. And a lot of people just concerned about swing trading the stock, but it's actually a very nice weekly chart. So I think we can expect some more movement in any, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim just to talk about where he sees the supports and resistance, so that those of you that are not in the any trade may want to take note of these particular entry points and maybe consider them for your own trades.
Yeah, we've noticed Any was not one of our, well, we liked Any for a while, then it became one of our worst loved stocks, and now we're starting to like it again.
Yeah.
And we noticed that Any closed Friday right at the 200 SMA, which is a very powerful move. The last 3 days, actually. I mean, this thing can pull back down, don't take me wrong, which it does, and I'm going to indicate the pattern in this next chart. I mean, not that one, but we'll go to this other one here, right here at the 5 day. You notice we have like this little flag right here, and once that happens, it breaks down. And the same thing happened here. It had a little rise up and then it broke down. And it came down the next day and kind of created a support level. Well, we have another flag right here, mending. And I think the same thing could happen. It could pull back a little bit. We had lower highs from the previous high. So I'm looking at maybe just a small pullback on this stock. And I mean, 413 is asking too much. But if we can get this thing down to about 470 to 497, somewhere in this channel right here, I think we're going to be looking at a bounce back up. And this is Any. I like the stock. I need to change this here thing right here. Put this other trend line where I like it right there at 470. So we've got two little pullbacks here, 507 or 535. Those are the two I'm looking at, and that'll be Any. I'm still bullish on it. I'm just waiting for a pullback.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. So the next one I'm going to talk about is, you guys know I like Israeli tickers. And one of the ones that's kind of caught my attention is one called Safety, SFET, and it's called Safety Group Limited. And this is interesting because it's an Israeli ticker. It was an IPO earlier this year. It's got a really small float, believe it or not, around 300 and something thousand. Looks like 310,000 in the float, give or take a little bit. But what I like about it as well is I did see that there was a 13G filing in October from a mutual fund company called Ayalim, and they have a 9.5% stake. And another fund management company called Infinity Provident Funds also has a stake in the company of 0.52. So that does intrigue me. The other thing too is that Safety, they're very into data security, for your platforms, and they're into, they have a lot of good partnerships too, and I think Jim can show you there. But they have partnerships with Amazon, and they have a partnership even with Microsoft, McAfee. So, they're an interesting company to watch. For me, the reason I like Israeli, I will say, is I really like their technology. I mean, they're a leader in technology and into, especially in security. So this stock here, just as a starter, just because I kind of liked what I was kind of seeing, very uncrowded. But I just think you should just keep a watch on. There could be no volume for quite some time. But they did have, what also the stock is they did have very good earnings. And in their earnings report, they did mention, which was that they had a backlog of customer orders who have not yet been charged. And that amount came to about 821,000 compared to a backlog from last year of 203,000. So the revenue quarter to about 248,000 versus 180,000 last year. They have an increase in sales in the Middle East, so that's good. And also the increase is also due to expansion of the company support and professional service team, which also increased a little bit of their payroll expenses. But the company looks to me that they're in expansion mode as well. So this is a good, one I think to watch. And people will talk out there, oh, pumping a stock. There's nothing to pump. I mean, no one's telling anyone to buy anything. It's just sharing information. Appeals to me. Again, this is not, it's just for you to do your own due diligence, just sharing what I've found. Also, the company also has an increase of 94% in sales in comparison to last year. So this company is on track to probably continue with an increase in their revenue. So the fact that it's a tiny float and the fact that the earnings were very good and a recent IPO is interesting. So again, your own choice to decide if you're going to take a trade or take a position in the stock, and do your own due diligence like you should be doing anyway. So, Jim, what do you think about that chart?
Yeah, pretty nice little, pretty nice chart. The IPO came out, and that was right around 405 net first day and ran up to $5. So then the next little while, man, she started running up and she had a $13 high and she's pulled back. So I'm finding a little support right now here at around $4, 413, 419 maybe, 420. Got a little pivot point right in this channel here at 450, and we got a resistance at 489. So I'm not in the stock either, but I'm gonna be putting it on my watch list for next week. It's a low float, real low float stock. So that, if this gets any kind of attention at any time or any news comes out, this thing could run up and bounce pretty fast, or it could pull back. But I think we found support here, right around little around $4, and it did have a low on this candle right here, right around 366. Anywhere below that would probably be a buy, but it depends on the tape and on the level 2 and the action. This is SFEX. Next one's David's
Okay.
T.
That was SFET, Jim.
Oh, excuse me, SFET.
Okay, so next one is David's Tea. You guys know it's a Canadian company. And David's Tea should be to watch again. It looks like the MACD lines are up and it's showing me positive movement. Some people I know are already swing trading the stock. And one thing I do like is that they got a new CFO. And this gentleman, his name is Frank, and he just joined David's Tea. He's got very good experience, and hopefully his mission, just so you guys know, he has been hired specifically to actually, turn the company around. His focus will be to do that and to actually create term shareholder value. He's got a great track record of helping companies achieve this. And he previously was the CFO of a company called LOP, and he was involved in mergers and acquisitions. And this is what I liked. He also was a senior manager with Price Waterhouse, but also internal auditor for Coca-Cola. And there's always that rumor and chatter that people like to see that, would eventually like to do some sort of partnership with David's Tea. But that's just all, chatter. But you never know. I mean, if they can turn this company around, way below IPO prices. So this gentleman, Frank Zatella, he will be joining the team December the 10th. So he has not joined yet. So it'll be quite interesting to see down the road how David's Tea will start to form and shape while he's in position at the company as the new CFO. So good job to Herschel. It's great that he brought in a new CFO, and hopefully we'll see some improvements with David's Tea. And Jim, what do you think about that chart?
I pulled up the website and they had a real nice special going on Black Friday, and probably still going on, 30% off. Up with a purchase of $50, you get free shipping. And they are top of the line tea company as I went through the website and you saw the different kind of teas. So here's David Tea on the yearly chart. We've had a major pullback on this stock. You notice the pot sector's kind of pulled back a little bit on a lot of them, but I think we're ready for another rebound. We've had the past 3 days, it has rebounded up to the resistance level of right around, look to me like Oh, 212. So I'm going to pull this up on a 20-day chart. 1 hour, and here we are. We've had the last 3 days have been a pretty good rebound bounce. We run up to about the resistance level of 208. We had a high 3 days ago of around 212. So let's see if this pulls back any at all to 204 at the most, or maybe right here at this 203 level, and run up to the 216 and just keep on moving up. But David's T, we got it on watch. I think it's in a reverse. And we'll just have to see. Usually after we see 3 days here, and it kind of bounced on down and went back up. But David's T is definitely on my watch list for this coming week.
And you know what? I just want to add a point too, because it is a Canadian company, and they did announce earlier this year, around August, that they were going to sell their tea bags at Loblaws, which is a huge grocery store chain in Canada. So I wonder if that'll help contribute and increase their sales as well. And they have, 75 stores across North America. So they've done really well, and one to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see it get up to 224, and I'm looking at a yearly chart, and that's kind of been solid support. So we're definitely oversold. And if we get it back to 224, I think we can bounce it up a little bit more. And that's David's T. Next.
Okay, next is CRMD. This is CorMedix. And, I gotta say, I really like everything so far. They did have their earnings report. They are a biopharmaceutical company, and what they do is they focus on commercializing and developing therapeutic products for prevention of inflammatory disease. So they did have that as well. And when I was looking at the earnings report, looks like they had some losses though, compared to the year before. And this is driven primarily by the increased costs related to their clinical study called the Lock It 100. So, you can expect that this is, when companies are in phase 2 clinical trials, I mean, this is going to happen. So their expense is very expensive to do these things. So cash on hand though was, I believe it was 6.4 million as of September 30th. Restricted cash of 0.2. And the company does believe that their cash resource proceeds that's received through their ATM program, which was mentioned in their 10Q, will help fund the company's operations into the second quarter of 2019. So that's pretty good. But I really have to say, I love this chart. The chart's just beautiful. But I'm going to let Jim talk about the chart because that's what he loves talking about, his
Yep,
charts.
that's right. Well, CRMD, we brought this up last time when we alerted it a couple months ago that this thing ran up to 240, and it did that in a matter of 10, 15 days. And then we had this major pullback to what I would call a support level right around 102. Then it got oversold and went to 85 for a couple of days, and now we've bounced back up in the past 4 days. So what we're feeling right now is we're kind of going to consolidate come Monday, I bet, or pull back a little bit. Then once that happens, we could probably take it back up to another leg, and I'd like to see 145 again. That's a solid little resistance right there, especially if it pulls back. We could pull this thing back to 123. You might get you a good little bounce play on this. This is CRMD, and I'm going to look at the 20-day real fast. See how this beautiful last week, that's just a beautiful pullback from that 84, 85 position. Run up to 145, and we closed. So, yeah, man, this thing can go ahead and pick up momentum. I seen it pulled back to 133, and then right after hours went back to 145. So this is kind of telling me that it could be a little bit bullish, maybe even breaking out on Monday. That's the way I'm looking at it in a way. Look at that. You see what I'm talking about? We hit that 145 double top on that day. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this breaks out or pulls back, and then have another bounce back up. That's CRMD.
Yeah, and I do like it had a nice pocket pivot as well.
Yeah, it did.
So it's been a great, nice channel that it's in. So I'm going to definitely be watching that one tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. And next one is an OTC one because I know I have OTC traders that love hearing about OTC ideas. And this one is for a stock called NHPI. Now, this particular stock had a beautiful run. If you got Jim, will talk about that in a second. But this company here, NHPI, they had a new 50. Okay, there, Jim?
Yeah.
They had a new 52-week high. And this company, we were actually looking at that one on Tuesday night. So this stock is one to watch. I think, with the fact that it's had a new 52-week high, when we looked at it, it was back down to 0.6, and now it's at 0.08. So one to watch for continuation. This could probably go to about a penny. And I'm going to let Jim talk about the chart because it definitely looks like to me that this stock, if their volume can continue on Monday or from the traders, it could have an expansion breakout. So I'm going to be watching this one too.
All right. NHPI.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say nothing about how beautiful this breakout's been. And it started back on a 927, 926, and it's been a good month. So we've run up. I mean, this is just beautiful. Almost 2 months. And we hit a high of 83 cents, 0.0083. I think a pullback's probably warranted to about 7.2. That's a solid support. Maybe a lower 0.0669. And I mean, it can pull back a little bit more because this is beautiful. This chart's just plumb beautiful. You see how I'm drawing these trend lines in, trying to look for a pullback area. So we're going to look at a 20-day right now and see what it brings to me. I haven't charted this up. I wanted to wait and show everybody how I do things. So we had a 0.077 right there. NHPI, I'm definitely going to keep on watch. This is a beautiful chart, and I'd like to see the continuation happen. We've got a little trend that comes up here, so let's see if this thing can pull back to about 7.2, 7.2, no lower than that, and that's NHPI.
Okay. And then I have a little OTC little bonus on a stock called SEDO. I only want to mention it because they did have a name change the other day and it had zero volume. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, $120,000 worth of buys came in on this stock. And the float looks like to be about 369,000 shares, which is shocking for OTC. So it's pretty tiny. Don't really see much chatter on this on social media or on iHub, which is a bit odd. But I will say, because of the fact that that volume came in, that money flow, it's definitely one to watch. Just can't ignore that. So no position, but definitely I think one to watch. The company is involved in a very interesting website. And I don't know if Jim, can you show that site there on, are you showing that site
No,
on SEDO?
I took it off. We had
Okay,
issues with it.
that's okay. So this company here, the website's sedolab.com. And this company here, what's interesting about it is they actually have hydroponics growing that you can do from home. So it's almost looks like a little fridge, and you put your seeds in there. You plant a seed basically, and it's monitored through an app, and then it just lets you know when it's ready. So it's kind of like an automatic lab. So it's self-sufficient. You just plant a seed, and then the little lab does its own little thing, and then I guess it notifies you when the plant is ready. So very interesting platform. Looks like a little fridge, and it also has built-in artificial intelligence. that determines what's required. It's got, perfect humidity. It's got carbon filters just to make sure that there's no bugs, no smell, no leaks. It's got an LED system and also makes sure to release the proper carbon monoxide during the photosynthesis. So very, very interesting. And you can actually watch your plant grow with a built-in camera without opening the door of that little fridge. So very interesting. Anyhow, so one to watch because of what I noticed on the OTC market. And I think you should take note and keep this on your radar.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever would like to get into the cannabis industry. That would really probably make this stock pop.
Well,
SEDO.
the product is designed for the looks like, they're into vegetables, but yeah, I think they should look at the cannabis sector
I mean, I
because
think it pop
look
like
all
they
the
did.
things they're into.
Yeah. So let's look at the chart. This is SEDO, and there's not much I can tell you about this chart because I just got one candle right here. So
Well,
just on this one candle, we had, low 43, and then you had it right around a 49, 54. So what I got to do is I'm going to be watching this stock next week, come out Monday, and I'm going to start drawing up supports and resistances on it. I want to keep an eye on it because I kind of like this idea too. I like to eat vegetables and stuff. I like to grow my own herbs. Now, you could probably grow your own herbs with this thing or anything. So this is SEDO. Let's keep it on watch, and I'm going to start drawing trend lines and everything for it next week.
okay. And before we wrap up our market show, I do want to mention that if you're going to be in New York City, I mean, the holiday season's coming up, but what's really happening on Thursday, November 29, between 2:30 p.m. and 6 o'clock, so you can even go when the market's closed if you're in the New York City area, or if you know someone that's out there and is on visiting, because a lot of people are visiting and relatives and friends at this time of the year too. They're going to have the official New York Stock Exchange 95th annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony and the closing bell. This will be hosted by AJ Calloway, who you guys know is on Entertainment Extra. They will also have appearances by the cast from Billions. So many of you watch that show. They're going to have the Coca-Cola Polar Bear there, the Hershey's Candy, the Grinch will be there, the Harlem Globetrotters are going to be there. All kinds of other celebrities there. There'll be performances by the Radio City Rockettes. They'll have other singers that are going to be there. So I think you should check it out if you're going to be in the New York district. Definitely something to experience. I think it's great that they do this. This has been something they've been doing, a tradition, since 1923. And this is now the 95th annual event. So if you're going to be in New York or you are in New York, definitely, I hope the weather's going to be okay, but you should definitely check this event out. I think you'll really like it. So stay tuned for that because I will be definitely showing you guys some pictures on what it looks like once it's lit and pictures of this beautiful tree that they're going to light up on Thursday. So check it out if you're in the area. All you New Yorkers, come on down.
If
And that's all for me.
I definitely lived in New York, I'd want to go just to see the Grinch. I think that
Well,
would
you
be
know what? I want to go see everything because I want to
okay.
see the cast from Billions and
Yeah.
all the different singers that I love. I love the holiday season. I love the lights. I love the music. I love everyone's in a good mood. It's just exciting time of the year. So I'll share pictures of that on probably on Thursday. So stay tuned.
All right. Well,
And that's it.
we're going to be starting a Santa rally here real soon, so keep that on mind. And we love stocks, and this is the aftermarket report, Sunday's edition with Vegas and Jim, November 5th, 25th, 2018. And we love stocks.
Have